Hello everyone. This is the second part of the lesson Pakistan's Chronology 1970 to 2008. Word chronology, as we have already mentioned in the previous lesson, shows the order in which a series of events take place. The arrangement of events or dates in order of their occurrence, or the study of historical records to establish the dates of past events. And we are studying the political events happened in Pakistan in a chronological order with the help of a timeline. In the previous lesson, we have already seen in detail the events which occurred in 1970 and in 1971. We have studied about the partition of East and West Pakistan and its main causes. And today we'll study about the two most influential political leaders in Pakistan's history, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and General Ziaul Haq. In today's lesson, we'll see how Zulfikar Ali Bhutto came into power and governed the country from 1971 till 1977 until he was arrested by General Ziaul Haq. And we'll see how Ziaul Haq got hold of the country in 1977, imposed martial law, his prominent role in Afghan crisis in 1979, the referendums of 1984 which led to the end of martial law, his Islamization, and in 1988 his tragic death. Now I'll give you the details about the years 1971 till 1988. You already know that the separation of both wings, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, happened on 16 December 1971 under the presidency of General Yahya Khan. And 4 days after the separation, General Yahya Khan resigned on 20th December 1971. And in the same month of December 1971, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto takes the lead. This was a very difficult time for Pakistan after a long period of crisis with East Pakistan, which ended with war with India. He ruled the country with complete control till 1977. Right from the beginning, he aimed to work for the rights of the people. In fact, one of his first achievements happened in July 1972, when he managed to recover 43,600 prisoners of war from India. In 1973, he appointed Fazl Ilahi Chaudhry as president, and Bhutto switched his role to Prime Minister. In order to strengthen the middle class and lower class societies of the country, Bhutto began a process of socialization and nationalization. What is nationalization? It is a process of taking a private industry or asset into public ownership by a national government or state. And what is socialism? Socialism is a system in which every person in the community has an equal share of the various elements of production. This reform upset many people in the country. Through his process of nationalization, Bhutto's government took over basic industries, banks, insurance companies, and schools. And through his small land reforms, he benefited the middle class farmers. Though Bhutto had good intentions behind these reforms, but it discouraged the investors who were working in these fields. Educational and industrial growth was badly affected by this process. But still he was very popular among the majority of people of Pakistan. He gained the title of Qaid-e-Awam. That means leader of the people. He had been an influential figure in the politics of Pakistan. In his government, a new constitution was passed, which stopped the interference of the army in the government. But on the other hand, he himself used the army to put down the opposition. One of his great achievements was that he called the first Islamic Summit Conference in Lahore in 1974, and it was a highly successful event. But generally speaking, he was not so much loved by the religious authorities of the country, because many of his socialist reforms were upsetting the religious authorities. His downfall and unpopularity reached at its peak during and after the elections of 1977. He was accused of having cheated in the elections in order to have more votes, and this caused a great unrest in the country by the opposition parties. The situation got so much out of control that General Ziaul Haq imposed martial law in the country and arrested Bhutto and his cabinet. Bhutto was also accused for a political murder and was sentenced to death. It was Bhutto himself who in 1976 had chosen Ziaul Haq to be the chief of army staff, because he believed that Zia is a very simple person and will not disturb his politics and his government. And now he was arrested by the same Ziaul Haq. Now begins the era of Ziaul Haq. He became the President of Pakistan and imposed Sharia law in the country. That means all the law and order was done according to the teaching of Islam, which included punishments, rights and duties. He also introduced interest-free banking in Pakistan. This caused a big problem for investors and bankers, because a huge amount of people started asking for the loan from the banks. Bhutto was killed in April 1979. In the same year, Russia invaded Afghanistan because there had been a civil war in Afghanistan, so Russian armies entered in the country with the excuse of maintaining law and order. Afghan people had to leave their country to save their lives, and Ziaul Haq opened the borders of Pakistan and let them in. This caused many crises for Pakistan. USA offered a huge amount of aid to Pakistan to support Afghanistan for fighting against Russia. Before the Afghan fact, Ziaul Haq was very much criticized by Western powers for his anti-democratic policies. But as soon as he supported USA in Afghan issue, the Western powers stopped demanding for democracy, and they completely ignored the human rights issue in his government. Till 1984, Zia was ruling Pakistan without being elected by the people. Now, for becoming the elected President of Pakistan and for the approval of his Islamization policies, he held referendum. Referendum is a general vote by the electorate on a single political question, which has been referred to them for a direct decision. Which means the people are asked only one question, which they are supposed to answer in yes or no. And the question which Ziaul Haq asked to the people for the referendum was like this: do you wish Pakistan to be an Islamic state, and do you support Ziaul Haq to continue the process of Islamization? And people were supposed to say yes or no. In this way, Ziaul Haq was elected President of Pakistan in 1984. Martial law was ended now, and Muhammad Khan Junejo was nominated as Prime Minister in the civilian government. But lately Ziaul Haq dismissed him. In 1986, Benazir came back to Pakistan, but she was placed under house arrest. In August 1988, President Ziaul Haq was killed in a very suspicious airplane crash along with some top army staff and the US Ambassador Arnold Raphael. Here are two questions for you. What were the policies of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto as president, and how did these upset some people in Pakistan? How long did Ziaul Haq rule Pakistan? What did he do to promote Islamic law in Pakistan? What did he do for Afghanistan? Please watch the video once again, listen to everything carefully and answer these questions.